So, good evening, everyone. Here we are for another interview in preparation for our forthcoming event, the Bitcoin Fest, which is going to be on the 6th of April. And today we have a very honoured guest who's well known to those who how shall I describe it? Regularly attend conferences in Bitcoin. Many of you will know who you are, but for today, in honour of liking to keep things private in crypto, in spite of the fact that we're using a distributed ledger on the blockchain, but we like to insist on privacy wherever we can. And so he's come to this interview incognito with the title "Bitcoiner with Attitude." So I'm going to refer to him as BWA in this interview. So, but he has made a contribution to this event, which is why I particularly wanted to interview him. And other people I've been showing the videos with said, "Oh, I really want you to interview this guy," because we know that he has contributed so generously in so many ways to so many events. In fact, I've actually been given speaking engagements thanks to this guy here. So I myself also appreciate many of his generosity, his wide generosity. So why don't you tell us, what about your contribution to the Bitcoin Fest? How did you become involved, and what is it that you've done to help us so far?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you very much for having me, V. It's an honor and a pleasure. So thank you very much for this opportunity. So how I became involved was, as you know, we were helping the Avon Valley event that happened last year, and very
Yeah.
kindly, a good friend of yours, Ben Ark, and a few others suggested that I get involved also in helping doing something for the Bitcoin Fest, which I was really
Okay.
excited about because I'm all about the bottom up revolution.
Uh-huh.
And when I heard that Chris was doing a kind of a beginners event, he's only charging £5. It's a free event also. It really ticked all the boxes for me that these are the people I want to engage with. I want to engage with the man on the street. I don't want to engage with the Michael Saylors. Sorry, everyone. Don't want to upset you.
I'm
Yeah.
sure he'll forgive you if you ever come across him.
Well, actually, I have had a run in with him. So
Have
yeah,
you really? Oh, please tell us
yeah.
more.
Oh no, V, what have we done? So yeah, it was actually as you said, a conference that
Yeah.
I do like to attend conferences, especially the ones where the devs attend.
Yeah.
So I was on the conference floor talking to this individual, and he was saying all the right things, and out
Yeah.
of nowhere, I get a tap on my shoulders asking me to help someone take a photograph.
Right.
So I turn around quite swiftly because all I want to do is go back to this conversation I'm having with this freak.
Yeah.
So I turn around and boom, right in front of me is Michael Saylor. And out of nowhere, just as I it just came out of my mouth, I went, "Oh no, this guy," in quite a derogatory tone, to be honest.
Oh
And
no.
he didn't like it. And for a split second, you could see his facial expression drop, but yeah, then he kept his composure. Yeah, so that's my
Oh
Michael
wow.
Saylor story. Yeah.
Oh dear. What did he say in response to that? Did he just kind of, recover and kind of go, okay? It
Well,
must be quite
that's
unusual because a lot of people in Bitcoin really, um, think he's a hero. So,
that's
mm,
I mean, we weren't supposed to have this conversation, but we're having it, so let's do it. One thing I was quite body language is obviously a big part
yeah,
of language. One
yeah,
thing I noticed was he could have walked off in any direction. It's a conference lobby floor. He could have walked off in 360 degrees.
yeah.
Instead, he literally just walks past me and brushes my shoulder. I think that was a way of saying, "You idiot," or "Get back in your place." But I am who I am. I mean,
Oh,
I, I come from the space I come from. I've
yeah,
got to be real to myself. Yeah,
yeah. No one can
that's my
accuse
Michael
you of not
Sales
being
story.
authentic. That's for sure.
Thank you, V. Thank you. So yeah, going back to the question of how I got involved, is this basically, I do try and help out these events any which way I can. I'm not
Yeah,
really about. I did try and wear a mask today, but unfortunately, the sound was muffled.
yeah. We wouldn't be able to
I'm
hear you properly. Yeah,
yeah, like I'm not really about publicizing myself just because I really want 1,000 people. I want 100,000 people like me. So it's not about me. It's about the words that I'm saying, and the words
Hmm.
that I'm saying are coming from these people who I've learned from. I'm standing on the shoulders of from. So for me to take credit for I just felt it would just be dishonest. So yeah, and I just what Chris and Mitch are doing is really special. So I just want to do what I can for it, and I just kind of donated some tickets, and just really just wanted people to kind of engage with the event. So if you tagged a non-custodial wallet, we would give you a free ticket, and if you yeah. Always but non-custodial, hold your own keys, people. You know,
Well, was
yeah.
it you who organised the samurai guys to come and do a workshop at the event as well?
So yeah, just around that, it's not an official samurai guy. It's just like many of us who are part of this privacy space or security space, you could call it, or the angle which we were coming from.
Mm.
It's just a freak from the community who's really put himself forward, and he helped. He's the one that helped get the samurai wallet to sponsor the event. I had no part in that. I was just helping this individual, and and he's also done a lot for just helping people in that community run nodes, troubleshoot wallets, troubleshoot various things on their nodes. So yeah, he's a really yeah. So he was able to kind of get the ball rolling in getting Samurai involved and kind of getting exposure from that space. Yeah.
Okay, so they're coming to the event with to do a workshop on how samurai wallets work. Was that the idea of what he's going to be doing?
Yeah, so indeed, the gentleman who's running the event, he's not officially connected to Samurai in any way. He's just, as I said, a community
Hmm.
member, and he is going to be showing people what I think are all the best things about Bitcoin. He's going to be showing how running your own wallet, holding your own keys, UTXO management, not going into these things too deeply, but making
Mm.
people aware. Because you said at the start of the conversation, V, we're talking about an open ledger. So why all this privacy fuss?
Yeah.
That is a pro. It is a positive for Bitcoin having this public ledger. We're all able to verify it. There's
Yeah.
no shady business going on. But we have to look at this sincerely, in my point. If it's
Hmm.
public, then do you really want everyone knowing your financial transactions, your financial kind of way your funds are flowing?
Hmm.
So this workshop that this gentleman is running is really how you claim privacy
Hmm.
on a technology that is public,
Hmm.
the small things that you can do.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just going to be really doing that workshop about and he's going to be just showcasing a lot of cool stuff, guys. He's going to be showcasing how to build the DIY Geekworm build for the Ronin Dojo. He's going to be showing off the official Tanto build for the dojo, the Ronin Dojo. He's also going to be showing off various 3D printed nodes, self-custodial hardware wallets. So yeah, it's a lot
Wow.
going on that desk. I'm really
Yeah.
grateful for that individual. He does a lot for this space, and he seeks no fame. When I asked him if he wanted to do this interview, he was like, "No, not interested. Go away, get away."
Oh no, and I can testify. I can testify. You know, having been to many of these conferences for a number of years now, there are many people like that. You know, hugely humble, really generous with their time, energy, and their knowledge, because their motivation is to, introduce a new financial system. Because
Amen.
in reference to privacy, I completely agree with you. I think privacy is a really important issue. You know, at the moment, the situation we've got is that everyone's expected to be transparent, but the governments can do what they like and no one even knows about it. They're allowed to be secret, but we're not. But the
Exactly.
difference with Bitcoin is it kind of switches it over. You know, if they're having to use the primary chain for their transactions between countries, we're able to see exactly what they're doing. But with the privacy on the other layers, it means that the individuals are more protected. So examples people often give in the space is, a woman who's in a violent marriage, for example, if she's got access to a private wallet that, where she can have her in Bitcoin, she's got a chance of actually gathering together some savings in order to escape. Whereas if she didn't have access to that, she would be even more trapped than she was anyway. So you've got all of those sorts of examples. So yeah, I think it is a really important issue. It's not one that's it's often spoken about, and I think sometimes people get really really devoted to the privacy issue. But again, our meetup last night, we were talking about this, and I said that I don't worry about, for me personally, I don't worry about it so much because I know that Bitcoin disrupts the existing financial system to such an extent that there's only going to be so many people that they chase down. It's going to be so expensive to do that. Their motivation to do that, they'll have to check those things much more carefully. Whereas at the moment, because they've got unlimited resources, they can go after people much more now than they'll be able to do in the future. And so whilst privacy will always be important, for me personally, I don't think we need to worry about it quite as much as we do. But for the people who are worrying about it, the fact that they're so motivated on this and they're coming up with new tools and techniques, I definitely give them their props and their due, because I think it's really necessary. I don't want the world to worry so much about that, but I really want the people who are working on that to keep working on that. I think they're doing a very, very valuable job.
Amen.
And so, yeah, I really appreciate what you're doing in that space and the people that you're connected with in order to encourage and motivate their efforts, because I know that you do a lot of that, and well done you.
Well, I try. I think, another thing is we all look to devs, we all look to these influencers, and we think that we don't have a part to play. That's really the wrong attitude.
Oh,
Being
absolutely.
It's really the wrong attitude. Everyone has a part to play. The man on the street has a part to play in this revolution. If anything, I
Yeah.
need 10,000 more of them, not 10,000 more Jacko Zukomos or 10,000 whatever, Yeah,
Or anyone who's, well, yeah, we do all have a part to play, but by the same token, I think the people who are able to communicate well,
yes,
a lot of those people, many of us wouldn't have known about Bitcoin if it wasn't for their efforts as well. So
most
full
definitely.
credit to them. And it's like almost all of them have a season. It's like there's a time where people are putting in a lot of effort, and then they're kind of like, oh, because it's exhausting. It's exhausting to be in front of the public eye. And so, fair play to the ones who are prepared to do it, and then fair play to the fact that they want some privacy once they've done their bit, and then someone else takes over. It seems to work in a cycle. It's like each new generation, the generations in Bitcoin are kind of getting shorter and shorter because everyone kind of gets burnt out really quickly, and then there's
Yeah,
a whole load of other people following behind going, right, I'm happy, I'll take the baton, I'll take it from here. And it's such a fascinating topic that there are so many things to talk about from so many angles, and people are just consuming this knowledge. But I think once you've been around in the community, sometimes it's worth highlighting some of the lesser known vocal voices, because actually, unless you make a point of them having a say, it what I like particularly about this event, as you said right at the beginning, it's about the average person. So
amen.
it's not about focusing on the fact that Bitcoin's going to the moon. It's about the fact that using Bitcoin in the economy has the potential to end poverty and change the world and make it a better place. And it's those sorts of people that have really seemed to have come together and been really motivated by this event. And from knowing you personally, I know that's exactly the attitude you embody. And so, absolutely, I wanted to interview you. But to be fair, I asked you, and you were telling me about all these other people who are happy to come on and be interviewed, but only with a mask. But then when I was
Yeah.
sharing some of the videos in one of the chats, they were like, we want to see him. Like, okay, I'll ask him again.
Yeah, yeah, and thank you to the freak Jimmy who kind of pushed for this. So yeah, respect out to you, Jimmy, mate.
So, but I was impressed to see how popular you are and well known. So yeah, good
Do
for
you know,
you.
you say popular? I just think, no, I think it's just people resonate. I just think I just want to be as real as I can be.
Yeah,
Try to be authentic. Don't try and have a facade. Don't try and sell something. And I
yeah,
think really in this space we're getting so much money in now. I
yeah,
think people just resonate with that energy in me. So just
yeah.
God bless it. Thank you. Thank you to my fans.
Oh, it's nice to know you have some. Always good.
Yeah,
Always
yeah,
good.
true.
So, in spite of making this sterling contribution, I don't think we're actually going to see you at this event, are we? So, unfortunately. or have we
Yeah,
managed to persuade you?
well, actually, things may change, and I was having a conversation with the gentleman doing the workshop.
Yeah,
So I think I'm still unfortunately not able to attend just for kind of personal commitments. April's quite a
fair
busy
enough.
month for me,
Yeah.
but it actually might turn up, so we'll see. And I
Yeah.
think, the
So watch this
unfortunate thing
space.
is, sorry,
So watch this space.
yeah,
Wasn't
watch
going to
this
do an
space.
interview, then did. Wasn't going to come, and then did. You just never know.
Yeah,
Things may change, and you may or may not be there. But yeah, we'd love to see you if you did. I mean, I can't imagine going to a conference and you not being there. It just wouldn't be the same.
yeah, thanks. No, and that's another thing that I would really like to reiterate. I mean, I bet a lot of people in this space who have said, I don't want to spend the. I understand that some of these conference ticket prices are getting out of hand.
Yeah,
One thing I
yeah,
really loved, and shout out to Mitch, no, shout out to Michael and the other organizers of BTC Prague. But last
yeah.
year they had the €9 ticket.
Right.
Fantastic idea. Just gave you access to the
Yeah,
lobby, no
yeah,
talks, nothing else fancy. But you and I both know, V, all the freaks, all the great conversations are in the lobby. So really,
in the
that
bar.
was
Yeah,
yeah. So that was I really appreciated that. Yes, that was
yeah,
fantastic. But yeah,
yeah.
just coming to an event like this, or going to any of these kind of some of these Bitcoin events,
Hmm.
meeting your tribe, meeting
Yeah,
your people, it is very self-affirming, especially
yeah,
when you meet people who resonate on the same wavelengths that you resonate. Like, for instance, V, like as you said, from the privacy thing, you may not 100% be kind
yeah.
of in it,
As
but
devoted
when
to it.
devoted, yeah, devoted.
Yeah,
But when you do meet your people, it's
yeah,
really powerful. And
yeah,
it might sound cheesy, and it might sound stupid, it might sound even silly, but in some respects, going to especially the locally organized meetups, I do
yeah,
consider it as therapy.
yeah,
Going and talking to my tribe and getting
yeah,
those great
yeah,
conversations and good vibes, because the world
yeah.
is sometimes such a pessimistic place.
Yeah. And it's true. I think, I mean, a new form of money is a huge paradigm shift. And when
Exactly.
you get it and you're surrounded by other people in your life who just don't, and they're like, why do you keep going on this Bitcoin thing? It's like, guys, this is going to change everything. You don't get it. And especially when they start complaining about certain stuff and your response to it is like, you need to get some Bitcoin. And they're like, will you stop saying that? I mean, I've been at the dinner table, and my whole family have literally in unison have said, "No, or shut up," or whatever it was. It's like literally slapped you down because it's such a difficult thing to explain with a soundbite that until they've done the work, they don't get it. And so to actually go to an event where you can talk to people who do get it, and even if you're not all completely on the same page, it's like you're resonating on the same frequency, and so it charges you. It's like you pick up on that energy, and it's really worthwhile. You find it as a really worthwhile thing to do and
Oh, most
conversation to
definitely.
have. Yeah,
Most
so
definitely. Yeah,
so I
I'm,
get
I'm
you.
not.
And sorry,
Yeah,
carry on.
like, yeah, I was just gonna say I'm not really like a social media guy at all. But
Yeah,
when obviously I do use Telegram. This is like
yeah,
a thing I do need to deal with. I need to get away from that. But as they say in the Bitcoin space, you meet people twice. Like, I'll be
yeah,
talking to you, V, and we'll be having a nice, really good conversation about really nuanced topics, and then you'll be like, "Oh, I'm Victoria Jones.
yeah.
Oh, you wrote the Truth Decay. Oh, hi V, how you doing?" You know, yeah, it happens all the time, all the time. It's really nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, we're kind of, they say there's never a crowd on the leading edge. I mean, obviously it's getting more crowded now. But, those years when we have been on the leading edge, you're meeting people who are prepared to think outside the box. And so often they will have done something differently. And because it's been a small community, it's very easy to run into people who you know of, because often you've been learning from them from a podcast or, a YouTube video or whatever. And so, to then kind of meet them in a different setting, and as you say, recognize them from something else you've interacted with them in, it's not that unusual. And again, a really rewarding experience as well. So yeah, I certainly enjoy it. I can totally relate to you on that level. So I suppose of all the questions that I normally ask, the one I haven't asked is, how did you originally get into Bitcoin? Because I think that's often, people find those stories interesting. So we'll finish on that. Why don't you tell us your story of how you discovered Bitcoin and how you became interested in it?
It's like, well, I mean, how I first heard about it, like many others, Mr. Max Kaiser from the Kaiser Report,
Hmm.
and I remember he mentioned it, wrote it off,
Yeah.
mentioned it again, wrote it off. And it's like the 14th time I'm like, I really respect this guy's content. Like I look into all this other stuff that he
Yeah.
releases,
Yeah.
and I'm not looking into this thing. And then
Yeah. Yeah.
started to look into it, got more involved. But I remember because I come from like a, one thing I love about the Bitcoin space, and I'll never forget this because it's so powerful for me personally. Is Bitcoin for me joined so many of my worlds together, like the
Hmm.
gold and silver space. I was kind of always into the kind of privacy space. That's kind of thing I've always kind of been into myself as well. The whole being sovereignty, kind of just exiting from the just the general vibe of things. I was always the guy turning left when people were going right.
Yeah.
It, Bitcoin is filled with those people. It's literally filled with a bunch of misfits, and I just I just it joined so many of my worlds together, and it's just such a powerful thing. And then
Yeah.
when I came across the Bitcoin prehistory, which I
Yeah.
don't think it's talked about much, when I came across that, done. I was I was so deep into the rabbit hole. I was like, wow, like the cypherpunk, the code wars,
Yeah.
the B money, all of the it's just way die. All of this stuff is so it was so powerful because it really showed that this movement has been going on for a long time.
That's
Bitcoin
really
was
interesting,
really
actually. Yeah, that's interesting because not you're right, not many people talk about that. So, given that
yeah.
you've dived into it so deeply, is it possible to give us a summary of, your highlights that you came across, or the things that really stood out to you when you studied that?
Well, I think one of the stories that I think should it's like what we call evergreen content in the Bitcoin
Hmm.
space is when when the U.S. government actually tried to ban encryption, the whole PGP encryption wars. That
Right.
story it goes actually again, it goes back to what you were saying earlier, V. It's governments are saying to us it's privacy for me,
Yeah.
not privacy for you.
Yeah.
And that those trials that cypherpunks kind of took the U.S. government to court on in regards to PGP being freedom of speech,
Yeah.
that was a massive thing. And
Yeah.
to see people stand up for their rights against such a tyrannical,
Yeah.
multi-institutional, well-funded organization, it was amazing. And the way in which they'd done it, like the way
Yeah.
Adam Back was kind of printing the T-shirts, they were selling the books. It just showed you that if just keep pushing, and the truth will come through. And
Yeah.
that particular event, it really crystallized a lot for me. It really did.
Yeah. So some of our audience might not be familiar with those particular trials, or even what PGP is. PGP is. I've got some understanding of it, but could you maybe explain it in a little bit
Yeah.
more
So yeah, just
easy
very
way?
highlight. Yeah, of course. So PGP stands for Pretty Good Privacy.
Hmm.
It's a way of encrypting data so that you could only decrypt it if you had a key. The whole point of it
Right.
was you had a
Yeah.
public key and a private key, which we now know in Bitcoin,
Yeah.
and you were able to kind of encrypt data in a secure way. And we've got that
Okay.
very famous clip of Obama from several years ago on stage saying people are walking around with Swiss bank accounts in their pockets.
Yeah.
Essentially, what he's referring to is this encryption technology
Right.
of yeah. So that's essentially what we're talking about. Is this how to
Yeah.
encrypt data and knowing with a lot of certainty
Yeah.
that no one else can decrypt that data. And if they were tried
Yeah.
to, it would take an inordinate amount of computing power in order to
Yeah.
try and decrypt that.
Yeah. And you're right, it's a really important battle. And outside of Bitcoin, it's a battle that's still going on because, of course, there have been a
Yes.
number of legal cases with WhatsApp and some of the communication devices. Because, the media will often talk about the fact that, we're trying to save children from predators, which absolutely, we want the government to be involved with. But often they're using that excuse to access other things that really they shouldn't have access to. And there are certain points in time, if you've got a tyrannical government, for example, imagine if we had a world with another Hitler and the SSS had access to all of our WhatsApp messages. I mean, at the moment, we're in an environment where a number of people are still under the impression that our governments are benevolent, but we know from
Yeah.
history that governments can become tyrannical at any time. And so the thing is, when you allow in those sorts of rules when things are peaceful, the trouble is they're then still there when things become tyrannical. And this is why it's a really important battle. And I don't think many people understand that well enough. So I think it's really good that you're highlighting that. Yeah.
No, it's well said. And again, I remember I wasn't in the space then, but when I came across the Julian Assange and Free Assange, what's happening to
Yeah.
him is just brings me to tears sometimes. It's just horrible, horrible.
Yeah.
Assange. But when I seen that tweet from Assange that was thanking Hillary Clinton for he was thanking Hillary Clinton and others for the U.S. government blocking him on PayPal, Mastercard,
Yeah.
Visa. And what was he forced to do? He was forced to use a technology called Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And all power to him. He accepted it, and then the price went up massively.
Yeah.
So obviously bolstered the operations of WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
So yeah, all power to him. And when I came across that, it's what Samurai Wallet says a lot. He
Yeah.
goes, Bitcoin is a technology that it's to do with the spends you're
Yeah.
not supposed to make. That's
Right.
really the kind of the going back to the censorship resistant aspect of this technology. And when I seen that Julian Assange tweet, it was really, really powerful again for me because it just shows the power of this technology and what it can really do if we do it, if we can really engage with it on a proper level.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. Wow, that's a great summary. I think we've really touched on some deep topics there. I think, might have to persuade you to come back and do a longer session at some point. Do a deep
Of
dive. But at the moment, we're trying to keep these interviews short and snappy just to give people a flavour of,
course.
of what to expect at the event. But thank you so much for your time. Just before we go, we have had someone tweet in, bass pleb, convincing Scottish accent, OPSEC. I'm
Thank you,
sure
abstract respect.
that's
And
designed to
again,
make you laugh, I think.
no, I think that's abstract is another freak in the community. He's pushing the whole art aspect. Again, art is so powerful. It really
Yeah,
it's like art is memes in like real life form.
that's true.
And
Yeah.
it's so abstract. Shout out to you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, and there's
Yeah.
like you said, B, there's so many people in this space who they don't really want acknowledgement, but they're there, they're grinding, they're
Yeah.
literally trying to get the bakers, the farmers, the
Absolutely.
all on board. And
Yeah.
those are the people I want to be with because
Yeah.
I'm a man. I want to be a man of the people. I don't want to be no ivory tower, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's yeah. Well, I can certainly testify. I've seen your generosity and your good spirit firsthand. So
stay humble.
it's a privilege to be around all of you and all others like you. It's why I'm part of
Thank you,
Bitcoin.
V.
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great stuff. Okay, so I'm going to end it there. So, anyone who's still watching on YouTube or Twitter, give us a like and a subscribe. There's now a link in the banner below giving you a link to watch us live for the Bitcoin Fest. We're going to be doing our best to live stream for the event so you get to see it. And for those of you who are not on the live stream, who we're going to meet in person, we're really looking forward to it. And we'll see you then. Until next time, take care.
Take
Bye.
care, and guys, go to your local Havening party, man. Go meet your people, have some fun. you know.
Yeah,
Bye.
definitely. All right. See you later. Bye.